On Wednesday night, the full moon opens up super style in Sagittarius with a lunar eclipse that lines up close to the Earth. This will be charging the energy to a palpable level. I'll be going through how it affects your sign later in the vid. Sag is the adventurer and truth seeker of the zodiac. It's optimistic, sometimes reckless, usually hopeful. The eclipse opens up what's been held back, and this one pokes into various versions of truth and beliefs until a new perspective, i.e. the real truth, emerges. The energy is big, expansive and shape-shifty, not so much foggy. An unavoidable clarity could hit you sideways. Mercury is retrograde, and soon Saturn will be as well, adding to a feeling of instability or things on hold. This tension is giving space for the fragments to come together in a paint-by-numbers picture without the blurry lines and fanciful interpretations. 2 weeks ago, we saw Lilith and Uranus team up with the new moon in Taurus to create a better to die on your feet than live on your knees scenario. At the same time, Liz Cheney gave a pre-ousting speech to the GOP who turned on her. Remaining silent and ignoring the lie emboldens a liar. I will not participate in that. Lilith rises. And now the other asteroid goddesses are stepping into the ring. Pallas Athene and Neptune are together in Pisces, bringing experience, knowledge and knowingness together. They're in a tough aspect, with Venus and Mercury in Gemini. Pallas is a strategic goddess of war, law and justice. And in this position, she is clear-eyed, seeing something that was hidden or obscured. This exposes all the dodgy contracts, including what was unspoken, coerced, implied and exploited. Neptune operates by invisibly dissolving all it touches, and misinformation is getting a review. The investigation into Australian SAS war crimes and the subsequent cover-up is an expression of this aspect. Ceres is with Uranus, in a logjam with Saturn, messing up supplies over the eclipse phase. Saturn, turning retrograde, has almost frozen over their movement. Stock markets are expected to respond erratically, and cryptocurrency is marked. Resources hit a shortfall and weather events interrupt seasonal production. Elon Musk pulling crypto from Tesla sales is an example of this influence. So is the overwhelming mouse plague affecting Australian farmers. With Saturn at odds, there's a sense of failure that authorities aren't meeting the demands of the time. This could call in another round of COVID restrictions and lockdowns, affect vaccination distribution, or hold up funding destined for those who need it. Overseeing the long view, we've got Vesta in Virgo at the centre point of the moon's nodes. The balance between truth and conspiracy is being filtered through her history. Although she is a powerful temple goddess and high priestess in charge of the sacred flame and knowledge of pagan rituals, the patriarchy reduced Vesta's role to that of a sexless nun and carer, whose job it was to stay at home. This eclipse puts her at a turning point of the karmic axis. The questions of women's worth comes up here in their role as caregivers, healers and homemakers. It's time the feminine qualities of nurturing were honoured and valued in a realistic way. The Australian Prime Minister was reportedly gobsmacked women earned less money than men in an equal pay society. This shift with the eclipse might raise a decision about work, home, service or slave. There's a collective issue around slavish devotion to a belief system. Jupiter's just moved into Pisces. See my Taurus new moon vid for the full story on that. And in this newly wet, impressionable position, it's able to plug into this new moon eclipse and inspire a transition from knowledge to wisdom. These are the aha moments. In a post-truth world, knowledge is everywhere, but it's become attached to beliefs and splintered from truth. Honesty and truth may not be the same thing anymore. This May-June eclipse phase starts to unravel those complications, and by December, there should be a whole lot more to work with that's real. All eclipses bring about change, a new point of view and a shift in perspective. And this one is extra sensitive and aware. What does the lunar eclipse mean in your sign? If you have your sun in Aries, then it may not be news to you that the full moon vibe is cruisier and more buoyant than it's been in months. Sag moons are adventurous and they make you want to get outdoors and be immersed in nature. With Mars in Cancer, you've had a build-up of emotional energy, making you feel frustrated and narrow-minded. So channeling it into some trees and open sky can help you reset the balance. This Sag influence might be making you huffy, but catch yourself out before you become arrogant or sanctimonious. Let the fluid eclipse energy steer you back into the big picture while enjoying the here and now. Tune into small joys that uplift you and give you pleasure. There's a broader perspective opening up for you, and the negative mind chatter can't survive there. Over the eclipse phase, you can morph into the next level with new purpose and focus. Taurus. This eclipse phase brings about some significant endings and beginnings. There's a finality and truth that comes with it that you can no longer avoid. Some of you will be doing a happy dance, while others will be feeling the loss deeply. Uranus and Ceres in your sign are psyching you to let go of responsibilities that have gone beyond their use-by date. You're moving towards a healthier form of independence and are more resourceful than you think. Over the next 6 months to the December eclipse, you'll see how versatile and inventive you become when you rely on yourself. Gemini, you've been busy and in demand, but don't forget the details. Mercury turns retrograde in your sign on May 30 and has a hookup with Venus at the same time. This can make relationships complicated, affections get fickle, and arrangements slide south. Loose promises can come back to haunt you if you skipped over the fine print. The eclipse is in your house of relationships, so something is coming to light to change how you communicate your needs, and the reality of a key relationship might be different to your expectations. There's an opportunity here to discover a new part of yourself and do things differently. But Pallas and Neptune mean accepting a sacrifice with the deal. If you can stay out of your head, you'll see it's for your higher good. Cancer, you've had Mars in your sign, energizing you out of your comfort zone and making you keen to get ahead. If you've trod on some toes along the way or seen opposition to your goals, the matter will be coming to a head at the next eclipse with the new moon in 2 weeks. Right now, step back from the emotions and trust the truth will surface. Neptune and Pallas in Pisces have an ingenious solution you could dream into existence, and the eclipse has you restless to change your routine. Things are opening up. Leo is finally cutting a lucky break with a milestone, a culmination, or a celebration ticked off. There's an upward lift in mood. You've been under the crappy influence of Saturn and Uranus, feeling underappreciated, restless and flat. But now there's more buzz in your social life, friendships and conversations, and the eclipse gets your superstar vibe out to party. There may be some news around children or travel, and if you've been feeling separate or cut off, a reunion or a reconciliation is possible. The Sag full moon helps build bridges and opens closed doors. Virgo, you've had a culmination and decision to make about work versus home and caring for family versus the outside world. You might not see it, but you're restless and bored and looking for something more. This is a mutable energy and it gives flexibility and freedom to shift between two worlds. So you can pivot, but you also need some clearer delineation and guidance. The eclipse will help you find more meaning and purpose in what you do, why you're doing it, and where you do it. You're reaching the midpoint of a 12-year cycle with Jupiter. So the plans you made in 2015 are up for a review. It's time to make some honest adjustments. Librans have been working with Saturn to perfect a path into the future. Somehow it's been easier filling in forms and working through bureaucracies with confidence and foresight. This background work pays off. The eclipse helps get a creative vision off the drawing board and into new connections and expansion. This could involve travel plans or study, a lifestyle change, or a spiritual interest you want to develop. The tough aspect between Saturn, Uranus and Ceres is helping you sever some old ties, including habits and behaviour that kept a part of you isolated and diminished your power. Imagination is tripping right now and you're ready to engage at a broader level. This fluid eclipse environment is bringing out more of your cheeky side and letting you have the spotlight. Scorpio, Saturn has been pressing you to adopt a new vision. But until you feel it, you challenge to accept an abstract concept and the chain of command that goes with it. Now the Sag eclipse has you more open to new ideas and hopeful of outcomes. Jupiter has entered water sign Pisces and the feels have trickled down to your instinctual level. You're ready to take a risk. October Scorps are getting full flush of this urge to splurge, expand or extend. But early November birthdays, be warned you don't bite off more than you can chew. You could go into a bit of overwhelm. Uranus is opposite your sign in Taurus, making the undertow erratic and the results uncertain. The eclipse could bring about a change in relationships or attract unusual people into your life. It's all part of the expansive new ground you're covering. Sagittarius, the eclipse is in your sign, propelling you forward into a new way of handling responsibilities, relationships, and even stretching who you think you are. You can balance freedom against necessary changes in your personal identity and still come out a winner. The truth bombs will be flying, so use your native courage and flair to stay grounded and see it through. Issues from the past are coming back to be cleared out, and you can set it to rest once and for all. Capricorn, the eclipse is flipping your routines and getting you in touch with faraway places, people from the past, and some quality self-reflection. You might have had to pull back on a plan or even attend a health matter. But if downtime is what's being offered, take it with two hands. Your dream life is being processed at a really deep level, and that's not always happening when you're asleep. So step back from all distractions and slow down the pace. This is a time to explore the mystical inner worlds through therapy, study, meditation, or daydreaming. Aquarius, with Saturn in your sign and about to turn retrograde, you probably feel like everything is taking too long and you're working your guts out while everyone else is kicking back. But persevere. The eclipse falls in a lucky part of your chart that sees your hard work paying off and a creative opportunity getting some lift. There's a push to get you noticed, perhaps through writing, speaking, or social media, or a platform where your views can be expressed. Home life's being a bit unpredictable with unexpected guests or a change of plans. Ceres and Uranus have an all or nothing bite to them over this full moon phase. So keep it simple and low key. Now's not the time to get too extravagant or over the top. Jupiter will be back in your sign from July to December, and you'll see everything come together in that time. Pisces, especially cuspy fish, born from the 20th to the 24th of Feb, have Jupiter being big, beautiful and protective in their sign. And the full moon will bring some luck, recognition and relief where you need it. There could even be an upgrade in your resources or a culmination of something that's been weighing you down and draining you. Conversations and agreements with loved ones, family or siblings need to tread a careful line. Mercury's retrograde, and there may be different accounts of the same story. The devil's in the detail. Eclipses turn the landscape in a way that opens up a whole new view. And this one has the magic of paradigm shift with it. We've got a big paradox about truth to deal with. And there's a calling from our collective growth to find common ground. I'm Merryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Like, follow, share and subscribe. Contact me for courses and my mystery school stuff at www.merrylkey.com. Blessed be.